Men in interracial relationships, how often do you get stares? Alright, so I am 27M and I am English born of Nigerian descent. And the person I am dating is 25F, Southeast Asian and from Myanmar. I noticed when I am out with here, I get lots of stares from people, especially when we are out in restaurants. Most notably couples, ironically. It doesn't really bother me, but just wanted to see if people have the same experience. I'm not, but I'll ask my son next time I see him. We're about as white gets. He married a very beautiful, very dark-skinned black woman. I know they've said they get looks, but I don't know how often. It kinda matters a lot where you are. Afro-Latino dating a Chinese-American girl. We've hung out in different areas. And we've only really gotten stares or comments not intended to be heard around where she lives. Upscale, Asian heavy area. Things get even wilder when I reveal I can understand some Mandarin Chinese. Indian guy from the Caribbean. Chinese wife from Hong Kong. Both of us in Canada. We get stares from older Chinese people sometimes. And I often get judgmental glares from Indian women. But for the most part nobody cares. I dated a black girl back in college from the same Caribbean country I'm from, and the level of stares and actual comments we'd get from black guys in Canada was crazy. Latino with North African wife. Since we live in Dubai, it's very multicultural here and people never even notice we are from different races. We have pretty much the same skin color. Things change in our home countries when people realize where we're actually from. Same, but just in some places. Wife is Hispanic and I'm Asian. It mostly happens if we're in an area with high Hispanic concentrations, and I would obviously stick out among that crowd. I learned to just ignore it and go about my business. White guy, Indian wife. We get angry looks from some Indian men. But I also get Indian women checking me out. So it's a net positive. No one else cares. We're in Australia, and interracial relationships are the norm here. Black American man with white EXGF. Stares were common, often from older people. Pretty much non-existent from anyone our age and younger. Bonus though, she also didn't tell her self-described redneck parents that she was dating a black man. So meeting them was awkward, to say the least. White guy dating a Mexican girl. Every single time we go out we receive 5-10 "Wow, you're such a beautiful couple." Usually from black guys. White guy Latina wife, literally no one looks twice. I forget I'm in one until I see a post like this. 0 stares, no comments. Midwestern USA. I'm a mix of Northwestern European, Spanish, Chinese, native Venezuelan, and West African. My wife's parents are Filipino. Everyone just assumes I'm Filipino. Especially when I'm with my wife. The most beautiful woman I ever dated was black. Black guys would always try to steal her away from me when we were out. Since most people stick me in an Asian box, a lot of people's reaction was ew. Why? When I lived in the Midwest and was out with white women, this was before K-pop was big in the US. People are idiots. I dated a Sri Lankan girl for a while and had no issues with staring, etc. A colleague got pulled in for alleged racism. In his initial interview he brought a photo of him and his Nigerian wife. They really didn't have anywhere to go after that. I'm Colombian and my wife is Filipina and we don't get stares a fake. We're also in NYC though. I'm Asian and my wife is black. We have 2 kids together. Get stared at all the time. Used to it at this point, but we get a lot of compliments on how cute our kids are. Indian with a white wife. Strangely, nobody really says anything around me, but I'm 6'2" and have a permanent scowl on my face. My wife, on the other hand, has been sneered at and spat at by Indian women. Obviously never while I've been around, or I would have put a stop to that shit right quick. I'm a black male with a white wife living in the South USA. We never get stares. People are too busy with their own lives to care. I'm Chinese. My ex was white. She would always tell me that the Asian women with white guys would always give her dirty looks. I dated an Indian girl for 2.5 years. Lots of fun and nobody seemed to care. Her parents did not approve of me though. White guy in a relationship with a black woman. We're a pretty high contrast couple. I'm one of the paler people you're likely to see and she is fairly dark. I've noticed stares, to be sure. My GF notices them a lot more than I do. Once or twice we've gotten an overtly racist comment. And a couple weird compliments. I will say I find myself staring at interracial couples more now though. Especially ones with kids. Kind of in a once you start driving a new kind of car you start noticing that car everywhere kind of way. I'll catch myself staring at the ones with kids just out of curiosity about what ours might look like someday. Also in an interracial relationship, my partner is white but from mainland Europe, so sometimes people also look at her once she starts talking. Happens way more often than I'd hope it would in this day and age. But it very much depends on the area we're in. Where we live, it especially comes from old drunk guys in pubs or the rare exasperated older person on the street. It's hard for me because my partner is oblivious to things like this, but when you've had it your whole life, I guess you're just a bit more aware of it. Afro-Latino whose most recent ex is SE Asian. My most recent FWB is Russian. I'm not that dark. I have olive skin. I got more stares with the Russian woman, she was very pale, than I ever did with the SE Asian woman. But it also depends on where we are. In a place like NYC, nobody really cares. I'm white and she's Asian. We live in the deep south of the US and honestly I haven't noticed any stares or comments. Asian guy with a white girl. The amount of stares I get depends on how progressive conservative the place it. I'm in maybe the most common interracial relationship. I'm white. Wife's Asian Chinese. We've always lived in major cities. Never noticed anything. And know plenty of other white guy Asian woman couples. We've been together for 10 years. And now we have a kid. And sometimes, when I have my son on my own at a playground or whatever, he's almost 2. I feel just like 5 self-conscious because he doesn't look that much like me. White guy dating black girl in Canada. I know not all old 75 people are racist, but I know some of them are. So whenever I walk down the street I make sure to hold her hand and tell her I love her. Because I hope I ruin some racist old cunt's day. I am a Colombian girl and my boyfriend is from the north of England. We get plenty of stares in North England. None in London. I remember few years ago in South Korea, PPL were staring at few brown folks visiting Lot World, an amusement park. Local PPL, including children, were behaving weirdly and whispering among themselves blatantly, pointing fingers at them. Few Koreans even got off the line to not to follow after them in the water rides. Must have felt strange and weird for those folks. Never. If I get shit from people, it's usually online abuse. Usually from white women who claim to be left-leaning but treat my relationship with contempt. Got called a race fetishist, told I shouldn't have kids with her because it'll bleach her family tree. Even got called a pedo because she's part Asian and the woman saying it thought Asian women looked young. Thus anyone who likes them must be a pedo. Just real brain-dead takes. Yak now. But not stares. It takes about 5 minutes out in public before they start. I try not to notice as long as I don't get spidey senses tingling.